Good morning, good afternoon, good night, good whatever it may be for you right now. This is Lose the Taboo on Mental Health with Jared Cash. Buckle up, get ready, we going for a ride. Hey. Not sure why I'm saying hey so much, but welcome to another episode. I believe this is episode 21. Which is crazy, trying to get them rolling. I've actually got a couple interviews set up here for the next few weeks, but I wanted to go ahead and shoot a video. I'm here by myself. Jessica and the girls, while I'm shooting this, are still in Texas, and so it's been me and my jack man right here, Jackson, that have been hanging out for the past few days, and I just got some new lights if you're watching this and wanted to go ahead and just shoot a video, so I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm going to talk about. But that's the fun thing about our conversation. We just start getting going and start rolling and see what happens. But since it's just been me, I've been thinking back on what it was like before I kind of got to the place that I'm at right now, the stage of life that I'm in with being a husband and being a father and all those different things. And started looking back just on my journey of mental health. And as you know, there have been a ton of ups and downs with my mental health, as I'm sure you can relate to. There's probably been a lot of up and downs in your journey as well, or the person that you love is someone that you're supporting has had a lot of ups and downs. And I was just thinking through, what is the thing that I wish I would have known? And there's a lot of things that I wish I would have known that would have really benefited me in my mental health journey. But I was thinking, what is one thing that I want to touch on today that I wish I would have known? And I just quickly wrote down, so I haven't put tons of thought into this. I try to have a little more of a game plan when I walk into these, but I just wrote down, don't compare yourself to others. And this is such a big thing when it comes to mental health, when it comes to really any aspect of life, how easy it is to compare ourselves to others and the dangers that come from that. I mean, you just look at it and it's like, since especially social media came about, and this is no new news to you, but man, this has just gotten terrible. Not only are you comparing yourself with the people that you come in contact with at school or at work or in the neighborhood or you see at the gym, or anywhere, the park, anywhere like that, but now you're seeing people all around the world, and it seems like you find more and more people that are successful or doing something that you wish you could do, but you're not currently doing. And it just becomes this game, this comparison game, this trap that we get into where we all of a sudden see what other people are doing and we have no idea what the behind the scenes, what they're really feeling like, what they really had to go through to get to where they're at, or what it even looks like, because you can throw a filter on anything. You can make anything look different than what it really is. And I even look at some of my posts and I'm like, is that really telling the true story? I don't know. I'm not thinking of a specific post, but there's probably things that I've posted that come across different than what I expected, whether I meant to or not. And it's just so easy to watch other people and to get so caught up in what they're doing and what we're not doing, or how good things are going for them and how things are not going good for us, and how they're doing something really fun and I'm here on the couch eating Cheetos and playing video games and wondering what in the world's happening with my life. It's just so easy to get caught in this comparison trap. And I look back and I think even when it comes to like pastoring, something that's a good thing, I found myself comparing myself to other pastors I see on social media that were a little bit older, a little bit further down their path, that were successful in what they were doing, that were selling books and were going to conferences and speaking, and churches were growing. And especially when I had started pastoring a church plant, Impact Church, I just found myself looking at these other guys and just going, man, like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? How are they in the place that they're in? And it just got to a place where it was really easy, and I found myself comparing so much that it started hindering the job that I could do. And it started making me have a tainted view of what I was doing. And God was working, but yet I would sometimes get so distracted because I wasn't doing exactly what they were doing or what I thought I should be doing. And it became tainted and it distorted really the kind of view that I should have had. And so I look at every area of my life and it's really easy to do that. And I think I've gotten better than I was in the past, but man, how much it would have saved me, how much progress I could have made in my mental health journey if I would have just known what I know now and what I'll probably know more in the future when it comes to comparison. and letting go of that and realizing it's not realistic to compare ourselves and it's not healthy. God created us exactly how he wanted to create us. He gave us the talents and the skills that we have, and that's a great thing. And to think that we should have something else is really telling God that he didn't do the right job when he created us, when he gifted us, when he knit us together in our mother's womb. Is really telling God that he made some kind of mistake, which we know God doesn't make mistakes. And so it's taking a step back, looking at the bigger picture, not getting so caught up in the small little details, but realizing, man, God's got a plan for me. God's created me exactly how he wanted to. And yeah, there probably are things that I'm not doing that would be good habits to put into place. We can't use that as an excuse just to be lazy or not do the things we know we should be doing. But we can't find our purpose or our identity in comparing ourselves to others and what we think they have, because that's never a good game to play. And if I would have known that a year ago, 2 years ago, 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago, it would have saved me a lot of heartache, and it would have saved me a lot of really diminished mental health. And I would have been able to take some steps forward at a quicker pace if I would have just known there's no need to compare. And so even now, I limit the amount of time that I put in social media. I could be there on the more than I could, but I choose not to. Just for me, it's not best to be on there all the time and see what everyone else is doing. So that's been one thing that's helped me and something that I wish I would have known. And when I just think about the mental health journey, I was looking at, I'm reading through Psalms right now and think about just what David, it's such a great book of the Bible. If you've never read Psalms, highly encourage you to. There's a lot of Psalms. I'm not sure the exact number without looking it up. But it's just this journal, this diary of David, who eventually would become King David, a man after God's own heart. And you just see the human emotions, the ups and downs of times where he felt on top of the mountain and he was doing great and things like it seemed like things were going well and he was praising God. And then there was times where he was in the valley and he thought, I'm going to get destroyed by my enemies. And God, where are you? And it's just this roller coaster of emotions, but it's so true to our lives. And I love it. And I've been reading through it and find myself reading through Psalms quite a bit. But this morning I was reading through Psalms 44. And in it, verse 3, he says, "It was not by their sword that they won the land, nor did their arm bring them victory. It was your right hand, your arm, and the light of your face, for you love them." And relating it to the mental health journey, I think about how often we put all the pressure on ourselves that we've got to figure out how to make it through this mental health journey and how to get better. And so we start doing everything we can, which these aren't bad things, but we can start going to podcasts, into books, or talking to people and expect that those things in and of themselves are going to fix us or make our mental health the place that it needs to be. And sometimes we can forget the most important part, the thing that we still got to do our role and we still need to do those things, but we are never going to find the success in our mental health journey if we don't realize and if we don't put our faith and our trust in Jesus Christ. Because it's God who is ultimately going to bring the victory. It's God who's going to bring the healing, the hope. And it's the reason he does it is because he loves us. It says right here, the light of your face, for you love them. God does this because he cares for us deeply. He loves us to a deeper degree than we could ever realize. And so we can't ever lose the thought process or get away from realizing it is God who does the healing, who moves us forward. But we still play a role, and we still have to partner those two things together. But ultimately, it's not us who brings the victory, it's God. And so it's figuring out, how can I be reminded of that? How can I bring people around me that are going to help keep me accountable, that are going to help me keep moving forward and remember that ultimately I've got to be putting my hope and trust in Jesus Christ. So that's two thoughts that I just wanted to share with you today. And I did want to touch on something really quick. I'm trying to figure out how to just continue to make this something that's a benefit, a community for all of us, because I've got people in all different types of areas that will send in messages and talk with me. And I'm like, man, I just wish that you could hear what these people are saying and they could hear what you're saying. And so I'm going to try something. I'm still figuring out the details, but I would love to figure out a way to be able to have you have the opportunity to call in. And I don't know how to actually do that to where you're calling in, but want to figure out a way. Maybe you could create a little or record a little voice memo and then message me or email me or text me the voice memo, and then I can play it during the podcast and can interact with it. And then that way people can hear what you're thinking, what you're saying. And so the thing that I want to ask you, if you'll create a voice memo for and send it over to me, and I'll play some of them in the next couple podcast episodes, is the question that I want you to record is, what's the best thing that you've learned along the way that has helped you in your mental health journey? What's the best thing that you've learned along the way that's helped you in your mental health journey? And that's a very broad question, but just want to hear what you have to say. Something that you've learned recently or in years past that you go, that helps me move forward. That helps me every single day or on a regular basis to know this, whatever that may be. Shoot it to me over by Facebook Messenger or DM me on Instagram. I don't know how that even works necessarily, but send it to me somehow or let me know that you have it, and I'll play it in the next couple episodes. And we can just, that way other people can hear what you're thinking and they can be encouraged by it, and it can spark some different thoughts and maybe move people along in their journey. So if you can, we'll do a call in and you can send that to me and we'll play it. I also want to ask you for prayer. I am trying to figure out what my role in this mental health field is, in this space, what I'm called to do. So far I've been able to do this podcast, which has been so much fun, and really appreciate your support in it, and been able to write the devotional book, the 60-day devotional book. And I'm still feeling like that's something I need to do, is keep doing this podcast and try to get on more guests. And then also want to get back into writing. I've kind of taken a break from writing, but really feel inspired and called to continue to write. So I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. What's the next thing? Is it another devotional book? Is it a more of a book format with chapters? So trying to figure out what that looks like. Would appreciate your prayers and encouragement with that. But I also just feel called to encourage people. And so one thing I'm looking at is the possibility of getting a certificate to be a mental health coach, and to be able to coach people along and help figure out some goals that people have and how to help that person move forward in their goals, and to encourage and keep accountable and help bring thoughts down into a clear plan. And so I'm looking into that, and just like to just kind of keep you in the loop with what God's doing in my life, what he's calling me to do. And so that's something that I'm trying to figure out. Would love your thoughts. Maybe you have some different advice to give, or maybe you think you have an idea that would be really cool for us to do. And so just kind of throwing it out there. I want us to be a community where we help each other, and where you can help give me ideas on how to help spread encouragement to people in the mental health journey, to help people feel like they're not alone, but there is hope. There's hope in the friendships of others and encouragement of others, but then ultimately hope in Jesus. So that's all I have for you. I have no idea how long that was exactly. Let me see here. Okay, about 13 minutes. That will do. We'll count that as an episode here, episode 21. But I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hit me up with the voice memo if you can, and we will go from there. All right. See you guys next time. Bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please subscribe and share with others so that they can join us on this journey. I'll see you next time.